Welcome to class, another episode of Ask the Teacher, coming to you by Teacher Teresa from the Waffle Suite off Kano Street, Nakuru. Try us out. Yes, the question today, another concerned parent asking, my teenagers are not as obedient as they were a few years ago. What am I doing wrong? Wow, this is interesting. These are parents who feel that now the teenagers are getting out of hand. And I like your approach, parent, because you are looking at yourself. Because many other parents would ask what is wrong with them. I am happy that you are looking at yourself and you want to know what is happening. For the parents, it is important to notice that as children grow, so does their responses to things change. Their thinking change. Their values change. Their whole adaptation and their whole adaptation changes. And one of the places we fail as parents is when we are not able to grow with our children. And so allow me to say that as our children grow, there needs to be change of the parenting approach. There needs to be a change of how, as a parent, you approach this. And in these dynamics, a parent needs to develop as a child develops. And there are basically 4 stages of parenting. As the child grows from age 0 to somewhere around age 7, depending, some would go up to around age 8, is a time when the parent can say anything and the kids will not question. At that point, the parent is basically a commander in that house. Says right turn, and it's a right turn. But then as the children start getting into puberty and those days of self-recognition around from ages 7, as you grow to around ages 10, 12, somewhere there depending with the growth curves of the children, because children apparently don't develop the same way. Somewhere before age 12, 13, your children apparently start a bit questioning your authority. They start questioning what you say. And so there will be maybe not some outright rebellion, but there will be a bit of pushback. Wherever you say, there is a bit of resistance. At that time, you need to know that you are now in the second stage of parenting, which is coaching. Your children are not only listening to you, they are watching you. So whenever you say something that contradicts your actions, they are wondering, what is this that you are saying? That's number 1. Number 2, whenever you are telling them to do something and they have seen it done elsewhere another way, they are wondering, why can't we do what happens in the other place? So this resistance is not necessarily rebellion. They are trying to figure out why it must be your way and not any other way. And the best way for you during this period is to be a model of what you want done. Do not tell your children to do what you are not doing. After that, as they transit into teenage, it becomes a completely different season. Because in this season now, the children would want to engage. That is the time now they will ask you the hard questions. You say one thing and they will actually confront you and say, why not? And you have to explain. And as they grow, they might give you their own point of view. At this point now, as a parent, you are more of a counselor. You need to up your negotiation skills for things to be done the way you think is right, without necessarily not allowing the input of the teenagers. So as they come into teenage, parents need to grow their negotiation skills. And maybe in a future program, we will talk about, I'll have a guest, and we can talk about how to develop negotiation skills for teenagers. Because now, as a counselor, they come to you with information, or you come to them with information, and you guys have to negotiate. And this is where you can either build or break your relationship with your child. If they find you too harsh, they will withdraw. So you will say something, they don't agree with it, but they will not question, and maybe they will turn like the biblical son. Doesn't say no, doesn't do. So it is another level, and there you need to learn negotiations. Then finally, your children grow up and they are clearing fourth form and they are going to college, and somewhere in between where you are now maybe paying their very last bills, and when you stop paying their bills, you actually now transit from a counselor to a consultant. There gets a time in the life of your child that you only give your input when it is asked. You need to learn that at a given point, you have to release them to become who you have built. Because your children will turn out the way you helped them grow. So by the time that one comes, you need to have worked on them that you can be able to comfortably release them and wait for them to ask you when they need anything. I have had interactions with mothers and I told them there comes a time when your son gets married. Even if you go to that home and you find him cooking, washing, and changing the diapers, it's zero of your business. You can always go back to your husband and rest. He is the husband there, they do them, you go do you. So why are your teenagers looking not as obedient as they were when they were young? Simple answer, they are growing. They are adapting into the adult livelihood. They are identifying what they would want to do. They are testing the waters. There is a whole developmental thing happening in their lives, and it needs to be aided. So as a parent, you must always know that you have 4 levels of parenting. When you are commander, whatever you say goes. When you are the coach, in this time, they observe more than they listen. They are looking at you. Then you become a counselor, you need to up your negotiation skills. And finally, you become a consultant. You only speak when you are asked. That's what the teacher has to say.